What's going on, guys? It's Rest, and in today's video I want to go over my Terror Grasp Amara build. This build is going to be based all around using one of the new Terror Anoints in the game that allows Amara to shoot skulls out at her phase grasp target and do a lot of damage. So this is a action skill based build, and we are specifically going to be focusing on doing damage with that instead of other items. I will go on and say this is not a top tier bossing build. It's very good for mobbing. I would argue it's actually one of the best for mobbing, and it can be bossing if you have the right weapons. But for this build alone, I'm going to focus solely on the Anoint itself and the mobbing capabilities of it. But if you slap a back burner or just any form of item on here, it will absolutely do well when it comes to bossing. But if that interests you, as always, my builds are located in my Discord channel if you would like to download them. Link to the Discord will be in the description. If you download the build, enjoy the video, find it helpful in any way, consider subscribing and dropping a like. It's free, and it's what allows me to keep making videos like this for you guys. With all that being said, I hope you enjoy the build. Alright, so for the gear, all you really need for this build is the shield and grenade to have these specific anoints. For the shield, you can have on axe skill and apply terror to yourself for 3 seconds for over the next 18 seconds. And then for the grenade, after phase grasp an enemy, Amara fires terror skulls at the grass target, dealing 33,856 damage. This does an insane amount of more damage than what it's listed, and it will absolutely just insta kill any phase grasp enemy. Now, to make this even better, as pretty much everything in the game scales with URAD, we're going to be running a URAD smog right here. And the only reason I'm running a smog is because I have a corrosive one, and this can actually kill the buddy system robots very effectively. And that is the main downside if you're going to run this build. If you have buddy system on, is that some enemies are just immune, but this just instantly kills the buddy systems in like 1 to 2 shots, and it's applying the URAD because we're going to be running a Snowdrift Deathless. Like I said, the URAD does help with these terror skulls, and you get an insane amount of more damage just by holding that weapon. Now, for the Snowdrift Deathless, we have more weapon reload speed, more radiation damage, and more actual cooldown rate, which is really nice. Radiation damage is good for the URAD. Reload speed's somewhat nice, and actual cooldown rate is really good because you're going to get your phase grasp back as much as possible, since that's the main thing we're going to be using to deal damage. Now, since this is a active skill build, we're obviously going to be running the phase archer. I have weapon damage, SMG damage, and axe skill cooldown rate. This is very, very good. This paired with the smog is, like I said, going to let you just easily take out buddy systems, and you can use the smog in certain scenarios if you need to kill an enemy, if your phase grasp is off cooldown. But this is giving you more axe skill cooldown rate, so hopefully that won't happen. The perks you get from this are worthless. They don't really affect this build at all. Clarity is not going to heal you because you're running Deathless, and you don't really need status effects with Anima and Conflux. Maybe can help a little, but it's not that necessary. And if you don't know, the phase archer, when you use your axe, you're going to get max rust stacks, more cooldown rate, and more damage. The main thing you want is to be able to get those max rust stacks and cooldown rate, because you can stack things like do harm very, very quickly to do a lot of damage with your action skill. Now, things to help complement this build is, as you see, I'm running a transformer, and I'm also going to be running a Trevinator. This has on axe skill and projectile speed increased by 100%. It doesn't even need to be an Anoint. You can just get whatever on here. Just make sure you don't get something that adds elemental damage, because you specifically want just to use this for shock, so you can shoot the ground and heal yourself constantly with the transformer. So this is a very tanky build as well, on top of just being able to kill everything with a phase grasp. This is going to allow you to just constantly keep shooting the ground, heal yourself, and since you're going to have max shields, you're actually going to be proccing things like topped off right here. So when your shield's max, you're going to get around a 200% increased axial cooldown time on top of all your other cooldowns, which will have diminishing returns. But since this is a active skill focused build, you want as much as possible so you can keep spamming your phase grasps over and over again. For the grenade, you can kind of use whatever. I personally just have a red queen. You're never going to really throw this. If you can get an It's Piss with this Anoint, it'll probably be the best because you can apply a debuff, but whatever you want, it will work. Then, to add on top of the survivability, obviously we already went with the Snowdrift Deathless, but the Snowdrift is going to allow you to just move around the map really quick, and you can dodge a lot of things coming at you. Now, to get into the skills, I'm going to be starting in Mystical Assault because this is the main skill tree. 5 points to do harm is going to let you get an insane amount of action skill damage, and we're going to be running Ties That Bind, if you probably couldn't tell already, because this is going to allow your phase grasp Anoint to proc, and the Ties That Bind is going to kill everybody that's linked. So do harm is going to give you 5.9% more action skill damage per stack, thanks to Awakening, which we're running 3 points in, which is giving you 30% more rush stack effectiveness. This is going to allow your stacks to go up like crazy with the phase Zerker, and you can just insta kill any enemy in the game with one phase grasp. We're running 3 points of fast stance just to help out the reload speed a little bit. You know, weapon swap speed if you want to swap to shoot yourself to heal you. 1 point of Valentap should help keep rush stacks up, and I gotta get to the bottom. 5 points of Restless to get 25% more corner rate to get that phase grasp back as quick as possible. 1 point of Ascendant so we can buff whatever actual augment we're using. Personally, I like to run a lore because the lore can actually pull people in, and the skulls will hit the people that pull in too. But you can run whatever you want to. It doesn't really matter. Everything will be effective, especially with Ascendant. 3 points of Lay Bare, so all our linked enemies will take 25% increased damage, which is really nice. 3 points of Wrath, so we get 20% more damage, 20% more after use action skill. This is good for the Smog, and even the Trevinator is going to heal you a little bit more. And 1 point Remnant right here, so whenever we kill an enemy, it's actually going to spawn an orb that's going to go out and kill another enemy. The Remnant orb will actually be very good with the Terra Anoint because that is going to do an insane amount of excess damage, which is again going to spawn the orb to go kill another enemy. Then finally, 1 point Avatar, which is going to give you 10 more rush stacks, and you can use your axe skill twice for a cooldown. Use your axe skill twice is going to obviously let you kill enemies a lot more often, and you can get more rush stacks, which increases all the other benefits that we already went over. Now going into Fist of Elements, I have 3 points in Steady Hands to help the gameplay just a little bit better, and I need to get down to Ties That Bond. 5 points in Anima for the same reason, just because I got to get down to Ties That Bond. This isn't really doing too much, but 5 points of Tempest so we can buff our elemental damage, which is going to help out a little bit with this build, because the skulls actually do cryo damage, and you'll be doing radiation as well. Then 1 point Illuminated Fist so we get more melee damage, because your Groundbreaker is actually going to stack up pretty nice with this build, so this is going to allow you to get more melee damage to just instant kill an enemy, which is really good. 1 point Dread, so whenever we phase grasp enemy, we're going to get 15% more damage, and our guns are instantly reloaded. Now, this is not while the enemy is grasped. This is whenever Amara kills the grasped enemy, you get 15% more damage for 8 seconds. So, this is nice if you just need to like shoot a buddy system or just any annoying thing. You need to shoot it really quick. 15% will help out a little bit. But the main thing, this is going to get us the Ties That Bind, which is the main action skill that we're going to be running. But then finally, in Brawl, we have 3 points of personal space, so we can get more damage when we're close to an enemy. This is in return going to let you heal more, and your Small can kill enemies a little bit faster. I have 1 point Root to Rise and 1 point Clarity. They're not doing anything, but I get it down to the bottom. 5 points in Helping Hands right here, so we get 40% damage reduction however you use our action skill, which is really nice. 5 points in Arms Deal, so we get more splash damage reduction, even more survivability. 1 point Finding Center, so we get more melee damage and range, which, like I said, with Groundbreaker, this will actually work pretty well, especially paired with Illuminated Fist, so you can instant just melee kill an enemy after, you say, your Remnant Orb hits something or your skulls do a lot of damage. 5 points in Wild Nature, so you get more max health and elemental damage reduction. The main thing is the elemental damage reduction. So with the Transformer, you have a 100% resistance to shock, plus shock kills you, but now you have 40% resistance to corrosive as well, which is nice. Then finally, 1 point in Guardian Angel, so whenever you do go down, you can immediately get right back up, and it's on 120-second cooldown, so you can kind of play around this and essentially never die. But this is a very tanky build, obviously, with the ability to just heal yourself with the Trevinator, Guardian Angel instantly reviving you, all the tanky skills that you have, and being able to just have a huge shield with the Deathless. You don't ever really die that much with this build, and you can expect to just always be up and in the fight. So that is it for the Terra Grasp Amara build. I really hope you guys enjoyed. This is a different style of build. I figured I wanted to make this because it is very fun and very unique, and it is based all around the event that's going on right now. This is definitely not one of the best builds in the game. You know, definitely not the top tier that's going to let you solo any content in the game, but it is good, and if you want to turn it into something like that, it can absolutely handle it. I would definitely recommend trying this out, or at least getting the gear you need for this build. It is definitely not that demanding at all. All you need is those 2 Anoints, a Phase Zerker, and a Rat Anoint, and you will be just fine. But that's not all from me. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Prada Bay, run away, don't go. I'm in hell, might as well just go.